So my name is Mr. Adair, and for today's lesson, for our math lesson, I'm going to be going over and explaining what are equations. And here are some key words that I want us to focus on today. These are term, expression, and coefficient, and I will provide some examples for each of those. And to get started, an equation is an equality of two expressions. So for example, we can have I'll make a little example here. We can have 2x plus 5 equals 10, for example. Now this can be an expression. For example, this can be one side of the expression and this is the other side of the expression. And usually the answer is called a term. Now for coefficient, we will look at the variable. We will look for a variable, and then we will look for a number beside of the variable. The number will always be the coefficient. So say we have 5b or 2z. And that's another thing. A variable doesn't have to be always x. You can use y or b, m, or any lowercase letter of the alphabet. So here are, just to get started, a basic preview of equations and expressions, terms and coefficients. So to get started, what I want everyone to do is take a look up here on the board, and we are going to go over one-step equations. And for one-step equations, I want us to recognize all of those vocab words that I showed first. And we're going to do a pretty simple, fairly easy equation here. It's going to be 2x equals 5. So to get started here, always remember what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. So we are going, 2x is, think of x, try to think as x, the variable x here, as a number. So for example, x here is being multiplied by 2. So I'll try to put a parentheses here. The coefficient is going to be multiplied, if there's no other expression here, it's going to be 2x. That means that x is being multiplied by 2. So in algebra, we're going to do the opposite. The main thing to remember here is PEMDAS. I always like to remember it as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so this represents parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. And this is our order of operations. Okay, order of operations here. This is our, to remember here, is PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or however you can memorize this. So first in the equation, what we're going to look at is 2 is being multiplied by x. So we're going to reverse here and do the opposite of what is happening. So we have 2x plus 5 and equals, 2x equals 10. Okay, so it's being multiplied, so we're going to do the opposite and we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2x. So we're going to divide by 2 here, dividing 10 by 2. So this will give us our final answer. This cancels 2 out, and it leaves us only with x. So x will equal, what does x equal divided by 2? 2 times 5 gives us 10, so that will mean x equals 5. And that is our final answer to this one-step equation, okay? And I'm just going to keep it here to, we're going to go over one-step equations, and then we're going to do some two-step equations. And I'll let you answer some of these by yourselves. If you have any problems, just raise your hand and feel free to ask me. I'll be glad to help and try to help you there. So also what I want to do now is go over, we went over the multiply and divide steps. I want to go over the adding and subtract. So imagine if we had two, imagine if we had 2 plus x equals 50. Okay, so we're going to remember our order of operations here. We don't have to worry about parentheses, exponents, multiply, or divide. It is addition here in this picture. Let's see. Let's do it this other way. Let's do x plus 2 equals, okay. So for this, it's been added here. So x plus 2 equals 50. So remember, what we do to one side, we have to do the other. So we're going to subtract 2, right? We're going to subtract 2. We have to bring it over here to the other side. This cancels out and leaves us with 0. We're not going to worry about that. Bring the x down, equal sign. 50 minus 2 is 48. So this will leave us with x equals 48, okay? So I'm going to write down some problems here, and I want you to try your best at them. I don't expect you to know everything right now about algebra, as we're just getting started in here. So I'm going to write some problems down here and try to solve them. So here are the problems that I want us to try and work on using our order of operations. And remember, the main thing is what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. Whatever's happening in this picture, whether it's addition, subtraction, or multiplication, division, we're going to take it and we're going to do the opposite, take it across the equal sign, and perform that order of operations to the to each term here. And while you're doing these, another thing that I would like to see is trying to figure out some of the vocab words here. So for example, look at each term here and try to give me an answer, whether this is maybe an expression, a coefficient. This will help you learn better on the algebraic expressions and how to learn these terms, okay? Okay, so now that we have done one-step equations, we are going to move on to two-step equations, okay? Most of you seem to have a good idea of what's going on here. We understand our vocab words. So we're going to go on, we're going to do some two-step equations, okay? So instead of doing the one step, it's going to take 2 steps to solve a problem, okay? And still remember, we're going to want to remember PEMDAS, We're not going to worry about the parentheses and exponents right now. I won't use those. We're just going to do multiplication, division, adding, and subtraction, okay? And that's what I want us to focus on. So I'm going to show you here one example. So we have 2x plus 5 equals 45. And remember our PEMDAS here. 2x, we have our coefficient, plus 5 equals 45, the term, the answer. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Right, we're going to do the plus 5 part. So I'm going to circle that. So 5 is being added right here. So we're supposed to subtract 5 from each side. We're going to subtract 5 from each side. This is going to cancel out, give us 0. 45 minus 5 is going to give us 40, right? So we're going to have 40 equals, now we're just going to drop this 2x, we're just going to bring it down here, okay? So that will leave us with 2x equals 40. Now remember from our one-step equations, we're just going to solve likewise. So 2x equals 40. The 2 is being multiplied by x here. This is our coefficient originally. So we're just going to divide 2x equals 40. So we're going to divide 2x, divide by 2x, divide 2 on this side. This will cancel out, give us a 0. This will just leave us with our x, and x will equal 20. Yes, 2 times 20 will equal 40, so that will be 20. 20 equals x here. So following our order of operations, we're actually, with algebra, these equations, we're going to do it backwards, okay? So we're going to do it backwards when we're solving for equations. PEMDAS is just used for solving equations without a variable, okay? For this, we're going to subtract, add, divide, multiply, all backwards. As you could tell, this problem, we started addition and subtraction, and then we worked on to our multiplication and division. That way we got 2x equals 40. So I'm going to write down some equations on the board here for two-step problems, and we're going to see how we do on it. If you have any question, please raise your hand. I'm going to put you in groups, and we'll work as a team and try to figure this out, okay, among ourselves and among each other. So I'm going to write these down. Okay, so these are the problems that I want us to solve here. I want you to look at this problem, look at these 4 problems, and if you have any questions, raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to help. Okay, guys. So let's see what we can do with these problems here.